to kick every episode off by going around the table, which is where we talk about something new, fun, and noteworthy about our weeks. Patrick, did you say that you wanted to go first or that we were going to go first?
No, let me kick it off.
That's great. Do it.
Okay, I got the best deal that anyone in the history of deals has ever gotten.
You're actively trying to say deal instead of dill.
Deal. Because I want to say deal thanks to my upbringing.
Yeah,
Here's the thing. This should have cost me $125,000, and I managed to get it for $90. That's right, my very own Delta Wings, Captain's Wings. That's right, I didn't have to become a pilot. I just bought them off eBay.
Okay, I love this. I want to know something. Does it get you on the flights for free?
If I had the correct logo and not the old one, no.
Still no.
Great question.
That's arguably one of my favorite things you've said in a couple months.
Yeah, so the deal is, it was from an estate sale, and somebody picked these up, and they actually weren't that far from me, just a few miles. And there was a bit of a bidding war. I managed to come out on top. And they are actual Captain's Wings. And so I have the plastic ones. If you're ever on a Delta flight, you ask a flight attendant, they'll give you the plastic wings. But I wanted a set of the real deal. Do you get those every
time you fly?
Well, there's two sets. If you ask just a ordinary flight attendant, you get the gray wings. If you ask the head flight attendant, you get gold wings. Still plastic. And then if you
How do you know that? How do you know the difference? How do you know that?
What,
you know
silver and gold are very different.
No, I mean, but like, how did you figure that out? Like, did they just hand you a different color one time and you're like, wait, why are these not silver?
No, Patrick read about it on the internet.
I Googled it.
Reddit. I say Reddit.
No, this is not from Reddit. This is from Google. So
he's saying you read it on Google.
Oh, I read it somewhere. Yeah. No, I felt like a kid. I wanted this stuff. The only thing I haven't gotten yet is my tour of the cockpit. That feels a little bit more uncomfortable to ask for.
Well, also because it probably would be uncomfortable. You are big.
Yeah, you're a large boy. And to say, I want to see your cockpit. Like,
can I get in there?
You're a large man.
Yeah. So I'm actively trying to have a child just so the child can ask to see the cockpit, and then I can stand behind and
you buried the lead, sir.
Wait.
McKinsey doesn't know this yet. If that's the question.
If you're actively trying to have a child.
She doesn't have to know much.
Well, I don't.
Is she there now?
I think you're still missing the actively portion.
No, she's not here.
Then you're not doing it right.
So the next step, I'm going to the Delta Museum to fly the 737 simulator. And I will be wearing these.
Yeah, you will.
Like a complete nerd when I fly the simulator. And I just want you to know, I'll make sure I take video of it.
You're going to look like a total pro, and it's going to be awesome. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I'll make sure I take video. You know, we could schedule this and do it while y'all are in town. We could all do the simulator at the Delta Museum in Atlanta.
Can I do a flip in the plane?
You can try. I don't know if it'll break apart.
I don't want to fly it. Can I just ride in it while you fly? Yeah. Your screen's frozen on your face. It was funny.
Thanks, Appear.in. Hey, it's still a good service, though. Okay, so that's it for my week. Very short. Both of you had a different week than me. Y'all left me behind, and y'all went to crop. And the real deal crop. Not that pop-up crop wasn't amazing, but this is like the full-on daddy crop BR happening in Baton Rouge. That's right. Y'all are sending me just pictures of hotel rooms and automatic blinds and bars. Very exciting. So
there were bars all over the windows.
It was a nice place. So I'm interested to hear from y'all about y'all's experience. I think an easy place to start is, what was it like going, flying into Baton Rouge and seeing it for the first time?
Can I take it?
Yeah.
Take it, Andrew.
So I've been to New Orleans before, and I thought I knew what to expect from Baton Rouge. It's just an hour north, but totally, totally different. Such a cool town. Like, the airport is much smaller than I would have anticipated.
It's like Chattanooga Airport, almost.
Almost. Oh. Given that it's the capital of Louisiana, it's insanely small.
Mm-hmm.
But the every person we encountered. We rode with, numerous Uber drivers, encountered all sorts of people, local folk at the different hotels and things like that. Everybody was so friendly. And seemingly everybody who lived there had so much knowledge about the place. Would you say that's
Baton Rouge.
true?
Yes.
Of Baton Rouge.
Yes.
Yeah. We just met the nicest people, and it does seem like when we go places, we tend to, for whatever reason, we end up migrating to the people who are super generous with their time and with they open up and share things with us, and then say, "Hey, do you guys want to get a backstage look at things?" Essentially, you think about.
Well, I think so. I think the one distinction of that is we don't dismiss people normally. We're not very
unless
dismissive.
It's one of the three of us. You're right.
Right, but in general, if somebody's talking to us about something, we'll hear them out at least to a certain extent. And we happened to meet a couple people that knew a whole ton about the hotel we were staying at and the city we were visiting, and it was awesome.
And they happen to have access.
Yeah,
and that's really all it takes. If you show interest in what people are excited about, it's amazing.
Right.
If you're nice to people, how nice people can.
The guy we were talking about, his name was Bill, Wild Bill. He gave a moniker so we could remember his name, and he was just a doorman. And at first he's super friendly, but he was asking us about names and what our names mean. And then he was trying to tell us what our names meant. And it was a little awkward, but we were friendly enough, and we gave him the time and let him tell us what he thought, because he was excited about it. But then
so friendly.
He was super friendly. And then after that, he started going into the history of the hotel because he saw us taking pictures. And then from there, it turned into hey, do you guys have about 10 minutes? I can show you around. And we did. And he showed us all the history of we were at the Watermark Hotel, the history of it being a bank and the people who built it.
It was in the Louisiana National Bank.
Yeah.
It's an
it
old
used to be and so he just took us around. Yeah, it was amazing. And showed us, the old vault, the night drop that was back in the servants,
20s.
Not servants, but back in the the workers area, not the public area of the hotel.
Back in the corridors, yeah.
Yeah, the corridors of the And then we were walking back up from the tour, and we met the manager of the Hilton, who's a couple blocks down, and he was like, "Oh, this guy has a tunnel under his. He could probably take you through and show you." And the guy was like, "Oh yeah, just stop by. Here's my card. Email me when you want to do it.
Email me and we'll schedule a time.
And if you want to walk through, we'll do it." So we emailed him the next day, and then he took us through and showed us the suite of the guy who built the Hilton down there, and then these tunnels that he used to go, because he was a public figure and
the governor,
a former governor,
and so he used tunnels to go to different places without having it go out in public.
And it was awesome.
Most notoriously be by ushering his mistress between hotels,
right,
so that people wouldn't see her. Hey, go figure. This guy got assassinated for being kind of
in
shady.
office.
Well, that's
in office. It was so cool because he took us down there, and we told Matt Dawson, who puts on Crop. We told him, he's like, "Yeah, we ran into this guy after we took a tour," and he said that we could go down to the tunnels. He's like, "Wait, you get to go to the tunnels? I've always wanted to go see the tunnels." And we're like, "Oh yeah, we got an invite." And it was cool because he's from Baton Rouge, right?
Right.
And these are things he's heard of. They're there's stories
lore,
and legend, right, about this stuff, and we unknowingly stumbled into an opportunity to go explore these things.
My mind wants to tell me that it's chiseled out of rock, and there's work lights strung to the ceiling, and all this
You're
craziness.
not far off. It was under construction when we saw it.
Yeah, you're not entirely wrong. Yeah,
it was brick though. It was mostly brick at that point.
Sweet brick. Oh, I actually have pictures of it. A sweet brick arches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flash.
Keep going. I'll pull up pictures and I'll show you.
So what's okay? So favorite moments. I'm sure y'all got to talk to incredible people, and we don't have to talk about
absolutely.
that much.
You'll hear about them on the hot seats.
You'll get to hear them when we actually play the episodes. But what were some highlights to you from the event? Like, what made Crop BR stand out from other conferences? Or what is just something that was like a very unique experience for you this time around?
Sure. So for me, I think the thing that stood out for me about Crop. Oh yeah, there's the picture, Patrick.
I'm showing the.
Show the viewers, then he'll show you. The thing that stood out for me, and Andrew and I mentioned this throughout the weekend, it is such a more chill conference than most conferences. It's just really laid back, and I think that just speaks to Matt Dawson.
Yeah,
he's so laid back. That's the original facade of the Hilton that they transplanted from when they did some remodeling, and it's actually up outside their like top floor ballroom. Yeah. They transplanted it to the wall, which is sweet. But Matt is super chill, and so the conference just seems very chill. And it's in the South, so everything in the South is a little bit slower paced than how it is in the Midwest and the East Coast and stuff. But this is just, it doesn't feel like other conferences. Other conferences, there's always a go, 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 busyness, excited energy. And this was like a very positive atmosphere and somewhat excited, but mostly just really laid back and authentic is another word. It was really, really cool. Best experience of the weekend for me. I think it was the first night we got in. We went to the Irish pub down just a couple doors down from our hotel, and we were hanging out with most of the presenters and speakers, just talking. It wasn't like a VIP party. It was pretty open to anybody who wanted to come. But it was like this really nice like back area of the bar that was, open air, and everybody was just kind of going around to different like little clusters of people and just talking and getting to know each other. And that was really fun. It was cool.
Yeah. I would say for me, there's so many good parts about it. Like, over and over, we kept saying, we really wish Patrick was here. Like, you would have loved it. Because it's a totally different, like, it would have, we can explain more to you kind of off air when we have time to kind of go elaborate on some of this stuff. But I think if I had to narrow it down to one thing, the hot seat interviews we did, and we did a lot. We only did hot seats for one day.
We did 15 total, I think.
That's a lot. So we talked to a lot of people, and everybody was unique.
Yeah.
It's not like at some conferences you go to where, in some of the conferences we've done, where you see a lot of the same kinds of people in the same industry. It's not like, out of 15, 12 of them were graphic designers. It wasn't like, oh, okay, so who do you do the same kind of thing that the last guy does, but where do you do it? It wasn't like that at all. We had a crazy span of creative talent sitting in the seat with us, including a couple speakers, a couple workshop people, but for the most part, just conference attendees who, a lot of them were local to Baton Rouge. A couple of them weren't. And a couple of people we were able to encounter our podcast listeners, but only recently, like through Crop, like in their correspondence, they found us. And in the last 2 weeks have binge listened and knew who we were and came up and introduced themselves. So the interactions with the people, I think, was my favorite part. The food was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Matt knows how to put on a deal. Yeah. And we asked his wife, Adriana, we asked her if he really is Ariadna. What did I say? Adriana. Yeah, it's Ariadna. You got me messed up on that by saying it.
I know, but I have it right now.
You do have it right. Ariadna, we were asking her if he really is as chill as he seems like he is. She said, oh, no. So that's good to know. It's good to know that he's not some
because otherwise wizard. You would feel like less of a person.
I would.
If he's able to do all of that and keep that
that level of composure and chilledness, yeah, for sure.
Make you feel bad about yourself.
It was good. It was really good.
Great. Okay, around the table. Do you have anything else to add to around the table?
I do.
We'll do it. This is the time.
When we were at Crop, we had this idea, and we had the idea came. I don't even know where it came from.
We were talking with somebody. I think we were talking with. Oh, he's in Texas, but he's from across the pond.
It was Jeremy.
Yeah, I think it was Jeremy.
Okay. So I don't remember the context of the conversation, but in the conversation, I honestly don't even know, but the idea came to us to do a Benjamin button.
We had said something like we were Benjamin buttoning something.
Oh yeah. And then it was just like,
hey, we should. Oh, a Benjamin button would be a funny thing.
So that being said, we turned it. We made it happen. So we're gonna be. This episode is airing on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. We're recording it Monday, so our whole schedule is weird. We're only doing one episode this week. As you've noticed, this didn't come out yesterday because tomorrow we'll be at Creative South. If you're tracking with the timeline, but if you're gonna be at Creative South this week, we have a few of these exclusive conference buttons. If
Benjamin
I can get it to focus, it says it's Benjamin button. It says Benjamin on it, and it looks like a button you'd have like on your blazer or something. Oh, come on, focus.
Cameras, man, they just don't do what you want them to do.
There we go. I got it.
Unless you want to record.
We have some Benjamin buttons, and then some other special ones that we'll be giving to our workshop attendees as well. Mm-hmm. So we have a limited supply of these. So
on that note, if you haven't signed up for a workshop, this is your last chance. Yeah, today is your last chance. It is tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Absolutely.
So you have 12 hours, maybe. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, well, 24 hours probably from when the time this comes out.
Let's just do it.
Whatever. Just do it today. Just do it now. Just stop and just do it. But we have some of those buttons, so come to us and if you've listened to this, come to us and whisper in our ear, I want my Benjamin button, and there you go. You'll have
That's a weird thing to do. Man.
Please do it to Luke. Do it in his ear.
Whisper it into his beard.
I want the Benjamin button.
You might get a face punch.
But yeah, that's it. Lots of crazy stuff. Like lots of the schedule's been nuts. It's been like getting back. We're washing clothes, repacking, and we'll be back at it again very shortly. So it was good. Is that it for the Around the Table, I guess?
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing this. It felt right. That's it for the Around the Table. Up next, we're going to kick some master categories. The master categories time each week is when we get to talk about the tokens we drew the week before. That gives us our category. We pick our topic based on those categories. You learn something new. We learn something new. Everybody wins. Luke.
Me.
You start us off.
Okay. I had toys and games, and I'm going to talk about a game that has been out for a while. But I never got a chance to play it, and I finally got it, and I played through it, and I beat it, and it's great. So I'm talking about the latest chapter in the Uncharted saga, which is Uncharted Lost Legacy. Now, the stars of this game are not any of the Drakes, who we know from the previous game. It is two women that we have seen in the other games, but we have never played as them. It's a story of them going in India and trying to find this tusk, and there's a bad guy, and there's a whole bunch of exploring, climbing around, swinging on ropes, fighting bad guys, shooting guns, and crazy, awesome, expansive landscape renders. And the game is really good. It's not a very hard game. I mean, I played on not the normal difficulty, the next step up. So not like the insane mode, but like the hard mode, I guess.
Like hard,
intermediate.
Yeah, and it was challenging for sure. But I think I still beat the game in a total of like 10 or 11 hours, maybe. Not that long. And it was really good. The story's good. It fits in with the Uncharted. It makes me want to play all the Uncharted games again, just because there are a couple throwback things, and there's some based on the relationship that, the characters have with the Drake brothers, there's some things that I had forgotten that I want to see again. And those games are just really fun. It's you're playing through a story, and there's parts that you actually get to control, but there's a whole bunch of cutscenes. The way they mix in the cutscenes and the game action is always really fluid. It feels really good. It's very immersive in the storytelling and the style of play. There's a couple weird spots that always get me of like, when you go to jump on something and you accidentally hit jump again, you just jump off a cliff. Like I do that probably more times than most people. It's just a timing thing that I just have never gotten right. But it's fun, and it's like, there's like shooting, but there's also like puzzle solving, but the puzzles aren't as hard as, it's not like a Silent Hill or something like that where it takes a whole bunch of time. It's not like, like Myst or any of those kinds of puzzle games. It's more like, you're kind of led to the different spots, and as long as you can get to them, you can solve the puzzles. But there's all the extras where you can find like little treasure and all that kind of stuff throughout the game hidden, and those are like achievable, like unlockable things, unlock skins and different weapon skins and stuff like that. But yeah, if you like the Uncharted games, this is a perfect fit with all the other ones. If you don't like the Uncharted games, you'll hate this because it's the same.
Great.
But that's it, man. I played through it. It was really fun. I'm looking for story games. Like I've been playing a lot of like MOBAs and like battle arena games and first person like Overwatch kind of stuff. And I'm looking for more stories. And so that hit the story itch. Far Cry 5 supposed to have a great story. I'm still looking at that one. Detroit comes out in like a week. That's like you play a cop and there's like an AI cop. I've seen a trailer for it from E3. That's it.
Detroit,
so I don't know much about it.
Become Human.
What's that?
Detroit Become Human.
Yes, that's it. That's supposed to have a really good story too.
Comes out May 25th.
Okay, so yeah, about a month ish. But yeah, man. Give me recommendations for story games. There's a whole bunch that I've played before, but I know there's probably some I've missed. So let me know what your favorite story games are, and I am definitely down to check them out.
Great.
Have either of you played any of the Uncharted games, Patrick? I feel like you have.
Oh, I played some of the earlier games. Yeah. Absolutely. Man, I just fell out of love with video games for a while.
Yeah.
And it's been hard to... I let someone recently borrow my Switch, too, because it's just... no matter the console or whatever, it's been hard to find something that is as immersive, or I shouldn't say immersive, as just like
satisfying?
Time... Yeah, I mean, it's like demanding the time like the way the first Halo did.
Sure.
The first time you popped in Halo multiplayer, or like, I remember there's some of the Call of Duty franchise when I was in college that I just could not get up.
Odyssey did that for you though, right?
Odyssey had me for a few days, for sure.
Yeah.
And then, or like Warcraft was just an absolute
I think that's
addiction.
part of getting older, right? I think that's just part of like, for me, I look at it and I go, all these games look fun, and like I'll buy games that Cooper wants because I want to play them with the intent to play them, and I never do because they're like I could be doing this, or I could be working on podcast stuff, or doing something to make money. Like that's
Has Uncharted always been a PlayStation exclusive?
It has, yeah.
I think initially when the early Uncharted came out, I only had an Xbox at the time, like a 360 at the time, so I wasn't playing them. And then when I switched to my PlayStation, I was out of college, and then I just wasn't playing a lot of games. That's when I really started losing it.
Sure.
And again, it's just hard to. I haven't finished Breath of the Wild yet.
Sure.
I don't know why, but it's just hard to feel that time suck.
Well, the Uncharted always remind me of like a modern day Indiana Jones, so that's what I liked about him.
Yeah. I get that.
All right, whoever wants to take it, why don't we say Patrick?
Great. So last year, 2017, was the 150th anniversary of Canada. I think that's just the Olympics theme song.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, here's the beauty of technology. Luke can dub in the actual song, and it looks like I'm doing that, but he won't.
Here's the beauty of my personality. That won't happen.
I know, exactly.
So anyway, Canada. And so in basically a group of filmmakers set out. So it was the 150th anniversary. It's this big celebration of Canada, what it means to be Canadian. And there was this feeling that there wasn't a show, a program, a documentary that really set out to encompass what Canadian design has meant, both to development of Canada and also the influence on the design world. And so a designer and filmmaker set out to try to capture the story of Canadian graphic design. And so this was a Kickstarter project. It raised just shy of $100,000 and was funded, I think it was funded end of 2017, something like that.
How much is that in Canadian dollars?
3 million Canadian dollars. We can ask Andrew Kolb. I don't actually know, but it was Greg Durrell. I'm going to say Durrell because that's how we would pronounce it in Georgia. It might be like Durrell or something, but I'm going to say Durrell. And then Jessica Edwards and Gary Hustwit, they set out to create this documentary and to put it together, and so they captured interviews with the people behind the iconic Canadian brands like the Maple Leaf, the CNRL logo, the CBC logo, and like logos made for like Olympic teams and like all this kind of stuff. And they set out to talk with these people to understand what inspired, influenced them, to look at the legacy that's created in Canadian design, but also the influence across the world. So this was funded, and today, the day we're recording this, and so it's a couple days before we listen to the episode, they just dropped the trailer for the film in the Design Canada website. It's designcanada.com. You can go there. If you scroll to the bottom, there's a giant watch button that you can't miss because it says watch in incredibly large letters. And if you click that, then you can watch the preview for the Design Canada documentary. So very compelling preview and all that kind of stuff. A lot of energy and excitement around the process of creating this documentary, and all the reviews for it so far are incredibly positive. So documentary hasn't come out yet, hence I have not seen it, but it's something that just based on what I have seen, I would have no problem recommending. So definitely go look that up. The other thing is there are screenings posted. They're all in Canada. So for you that are listening, our Canadian listeners, Andrew, Blake,
Bennett,
Bennett,
Jason Edmiston.
Jason, oh my gosh. See, there's dozens of you at least. For all our Canadian listeners. Trudy Castle. We need to have her back on. She was a lot of fun. Look up the screenings. Go find a screening. There's a lot of them running through the month of June. And certainly, I'm sure the film will be out shortly after. So, designcanada.com, or just Google Design Canada. The Kickstarter is the first link that comes up. Click on that. Give it a watch. Give it support. Go ahead and purchase a copy. It's going to be great. Andrew.
All around the bases. All right. So, I had TV and film, which is good. Because I've been exhausting my my movie pass. I looked at my Alamo Draft House. I've seen 69 movies this year.
Oh dang.
That's a lot of movies. Now a couple of them are like I've purchased a couple of tickets. So like that's not exact, so probably 60. There's probably 60 movies I've seen.
Oh, okay. So it counts every ticket, not just not multiple.
It does when you purchase them at separate times. So that's what I typically do. Like I'll buy one on Movie Pass.
You've seen 60 at Alamo.
At Alamo, yeah. Well, that's the only place I've seen movies.
Considering that it is only April 9th, that is very impressive.
I know.
There have not been...
It feels like I'm the master of TV and film, ladies and gentlemen.
There have not been 60 films worth watching released this year.
That is correct.
Well, but remember, a lot of those have been, or not a lot, but a portion of those have been movie parties or
at least
marathons.
Yeah, at least
special screenings, a lot of that goodness.
Yeah, at least 15 of them were movies that were released like in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, not new movies is the key.
Sure.
I've only seen 40 so far this year.
Yeah, you've probably seen the new ones he has also.
Right, I've seen all the ones you've seen, and then I've seen all the movie party ones too.
Great.
Yeah. Thanks, by the way, because this is like the gift that keeps on giving. Honestly, I think, you know what, though? I think I spend more money because every time I go, I buy food.
Yeah.
Like, every time I go. Even if I'm not hungry, I buy food because I'm
just think about how much money I've still saved you on tickets. That thing paid for itself within a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
We paid for a year. It's like $90. And so now you get to ride that the rest of the year.
Oh, I know. And you better believe I'm gonna. So anyway, I say all that to say...
Do you think you see 300, more than 300 movies this year?
Do I think I will?
Yeah.
I don't think so because it's just gonna naturally start slowing down. A lot of the stuff that I was watching was in preparation for a couple of movies.
Mm-hmm.
But those have now come out. So I don't see... I don't know. No, I definitely won't see. I definitely won't see 300. I might see 150 movies this year, though.
Okay.
Which is it's still a lot, like based on
you'll do better than that.
So we'll see.
Don't limit yourself.
Anyway, that's a lot of lead into what I was going to say. So I saw 2 movies yesterday. I saw A Quiet Place in the morning, and then I saw Isle of Dogs.
The movie's just called A Quiet Place, not In the Morning.
What?
It's not called A Quiet Place in the Morning. It's just called A Quiet Place.
No, the version I saw at Alamo, they have an exclusive version. It's called A Quiet Place in the Morning. It's 37 minutes of extra footage.
Whoa.
But it's all morning time. But it's just sunrise. Just a bunch of stains of that. I watched A Quiet Place, which is a movie I have been dying to see. Like, I've been anticipating this movie ever since the teaser trailer. If you listen to the show, if you're a fan of the show, you know I like horror movies. I like, not like gory movies, but like horror. I like scary movies. And I like thrillers and things like that. So this is a John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. So they are married in real life, and so as husband and wife, they played husband and wife in this film. And actually, I didn't know this until the movie started because I tried not to read much about it. I watched all the trailers, but I tried not to read much about it. John Krasinski is one of the screenwriters from the film, and he's the director of the film. Yep. Did you know that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't. But that's really cool for me because I really like John Krasinski.
It is very much so a John Krasinski film.
Absolutely.
Yes, from beginning to end. It's so cool. It's so good. I would not classify it as a horror film. The best way that I would describe it. Neither one of you have seen it yet, right?
I saw it. I saw it yesterday.
Oh, you did. Okay.
I'm seeing it tomorrow night, so okay. I'm just missing this.
Here's my dime review on it, okay? If I only had a few words to describe it, I would say it is, if you like Stranger Things and you liked the movie Signs, you will like this movie. It is a combination of the movie Signs and of the TV show Stranger Things. It's really unique. The sound in this film is really good. It plays a huge part. They do a lot of storytelling in just sound, not very much dialogue, as you could imagine. General premise, if you have no idea, which I can't imagine you don't, but general premise is at some point in the not too distant future, something has invaded the Earth. Something has arisen, creatures that have come from somewhere, that are incredibly sensitive to hearing. To sound. They can't see, they're blind, but if you make any sound, they'll pounce on you and devour you, and that's all she wrote. This is the story of a family who is trying to survive and thrive inside of this new reality. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to give anything away. Mm-hmm. It's
set in rural America somewhere.
Rural America. They have they live on a farm. There's cornfields and hills,
though. There's cornfields in the hills, which is so it's not like flat country.
Yeah. It's beautifully shot. It is definitely a thriller.
Yep.
I think my blood pressure was probably up by like 20% the entire film. And as soon as you see it, you'll know why. I mean, it's just you're nonstop worrying for these people. Because literally any sound can trigger something, and so you're just constantly on the edge of your seat, hoping and praying that something doesn't get knocked over, that they don't step on the wrong thing, that no one drops anything, that's whatever. It's just really intense in that way. The movie has a very satisfying feel to it. I kind of understood the direction it was going about halfway through the film. I kind of knew the ending, where the ending was going, but that didn't take away from the goodness of the film, I guess.
Yeah.
If that's that's probably not a very good critical review, but it was very, very good. I liked it a lot. I'd probably give it an 8. John Krasinski killed it. The acting in the movie was really great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they tell so much with their facial features because they can't say a lot, but the intensity and the emotion in their faces. And I was talking to my friend Gabe about this, and he said it's probably all of those years of Jim on The Office having to tell stories with facial features too. All those quippy facial features where he'd look at the camera and they would tell the whole story.
But this is the opposite.
Him having to say anything.
The opposite emotions of what he was normally doing.
Opposite emotions, but it's still the same kind of the same mechanic. So I like that movie a lot. And then the other one was Isle of Dogs, and I saw Isle of Dogs last night. That's the newest Wes Anderson film, and it's a stop motion Wes Anderson film, much like Fantastic Mr. Fox. This movie was beautiful. I don't want to give anything away, so I'll keep this kind of very brief. But it's if you don't know what this is, it's about this. It's the story of Japan. It's a fictional place in Japan called. I knew it until I tried to say it, so I'm not even going to try to say it. I'll butcher it. But it takes place in this island where they send all where dogs are banned, and they send all the dogs off to this island that's called the Isle of Dogs because they have this flu. They have this dog flu, and trying to not give anything away. I'll leave it there. So a boy goes over a 12-year-old or 11-year-old
City.
boy. Megasaki. Yep. Megasaki.
I just want to look it up for you, Megasaki.
Thank you. A boy named Atari. He's like 11 or 12. Flies a little prop plane over, gets stranded on the island.
Because he's trying to find his dog. Yeah.
He's trying to find his dog, Spots. You see all this in the trailer, so I'm trying to give a very cursory view of the movie.
Let me ask you this question.
Okay, go for it.
Did you love it because the story was equally compelling to the visuals? Or did you love it primarily for the visuals?
No, I loved it because of the story. I actually went into it. It's weird because I wanted to love it because of the visuals, right? But at the same time, as a person who critiques movies and reviews movies for other people publicly, I wanted to temper that, right? So I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to love how this movie looks because I'm so aesthetically driven. I need to temper that and pull that back and see if the story can stand without the visuals. And the story is absolutely beautiful. It is deeply emotional. You feel all of the feels. And when you take a step back and realize that these are all fictional characters, and more than that, they're inanimate objects. They're just, they're puppets. They're these stop motion figures, these figurines. It's amazing how he told the story through it. It's getting a little bit of pushback from a couple of places. I was talking to EJ about it, who was on the show last week, and he shared this article with me. He has not seen the movie. He shared an article with me that I read, and it made me mad, and I found myself getting really riled up. I'll give you guys the link, Patrick, and we'll post it in our show notes. But it's essentially a big criticism on Wes Anderson kind of painting a white man's dreamscape of Japan, and like I disagree with what the thing is saying, because I think if you take the films in context and the way that they do things, a lot of the things that they reference in the article are things I just disagree with their perspective on it. But it is getting a little bit of pushback, saying that it's a little bit too stereotypical. But you know, I think
also, the little bit that I understand, thankfully, Not Cool Co. helped me understand some of this. And I still haven't seen the film, but like, it is based in this Japanese setting, but none of the Japanese actors had any top billing, or I don't even know that they had any billing at all in the trailer that was played in America. Yeah. And so, even though it's a film in a Japanese culture, the actual Japanese people kind of take a back seat to the other actors. So that's one of the criticisms.
Right. So here's one of the things. Right at the very beginning of the movie, it says, the narrator says, this takes place in Japan, and the humans will speak their native language, and unless there is a translator or somebody interpreting it within the context of the movie, because a lot of this takes place like through the news outlets. It's the government speaking to the people via the media, so that through the news outlets there is an interpreter, and you'll hear what they're saying in English, and sometimes via TVs you'll see a translation.
Like captions.
But every other time, captions. But every other time, they're just speaking Japanese, and if you don't know Japanese, you don't know Japanese. And then it says, but all barks will be translated into English. And so the whole movie is from the perspective of the dogs. That's the whole point of it. The humans play a second component to it anyway. And I loved that part about it. I thought that was super fun and a really cool, unique take on it. But that's one of the critiques, is that they're not, and all the dogs speak perfect English. Like, well, they say that at the very beginning. Sure. It's not, So anyway, go and read the article. Go see the film. Absolutely. I think I give this film like an 8.5, and it was probably because I was tired. There were a couple of moments where the pacing was a little slow, but Wes Anderson films typically have a slow pace. We didn't go see the movie until late last night. So I think I was a little tired. If I had to give it a solid, round number, I would round it up to 9. I loved it. I'll absolutely go see it again. I'll totally go see it with you guys this weekend if you want to.
I have no interest in seeing it.
Oh, that's right. Luke he's adamantly against it. It's so good.
He likes cats. That's why.
No, I just have no interest. I don't know. It feels boring to me.
So I will. I'll leave it there. I would say go see it. If you're a Wes Anderson film, or if you're a Wes Anderson guy or girl, you're gonna love it. But maybe not. There's Wes Anderson. I like Wes Anderson, but I don't think all of his films are runaways. There's some that I just think are boring. Like, I actually don't like A Life Aquatic. I don't, for whatever reason, that one doesn't hit me.
I haven't seen that film in 10 years. I should.
But you love that film. Yeah?
I enjoyed it at the time, but there's a lot of things I watched between the ages of 18 and 22 that I would not recommend to someone that at the time I loved. So,
like Eternal Sunshine. That's fine.
No, I still love that film. Garden State. Garden State is a film that you watched that you love.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I did not like that movie even when I first watched it. I can't get through the Royal Tenenbaums. I've started it twice and fallen asleep twice.
What's his name? Donnie Darko. You watch that when you're 18 and you love it. Try watching it a decade later. Good luck.
Yeah. I'm going to leave it there. Go see it if you want to. Whatever.
Right.
Go see A Quiet Place. Don't worry about Isle of Dogs. Go see A Quiet Place. Because it's great.
I would just double feature it.
Listen, my back, I hurt my back from watching that movie. I was tense the whole time because I was preparing myself for scares. And my back.
Luke is terrified of dogs.
No. From A Quiet Place. I was so worried about things jumping out and scaring me that I hurt my back from being tense, and I finally am feeling better after 24 hours. But that movie is incredible. The sound design is insanely good, and the acting's fantastic. It is like one of the best creature movies in the last decade, for sure.
I like the idea. I like the thought that there's a movie and someone has just vacuumed the floor, and they are terrified that someone is going to drop something on the freshly vacuumed floor. And it's just like, that's what it is all this tension of like, will the coffee hit the floor? Will I feel like that's...
absolutely. You're nailing it.
And that's kind of what A Quiet Place is like, where they're just afraid that people are going to drop stuff on the ground.
Yep. That's an accurate description from a person who's not seen the film. Gabe Barletta has gone on record saying that A Quiet Place is his favorite film of the year so far. So, for what it's worth.
But also it's April.
El Grey Ghost. Yeah, that's not saying much. Also, he has terrible taste in films. I'm just kidding. All right, I think that's it for our master categories, which means that's it for this episode. Thanks for waiting an extra day for this one. And man, when we get back into the regular swing of things next week, we will have so much content to unpack over the next few months. I cannot wait to start rolling out hot seats from Crop and Creative South. We have so much fun stuff. Hey, if you are, speaking of Creative South, if you are not signed up for a workshop, but you're coming, sign up for a workshop. It's going to be a good time. Come, we have some stuff for you, some good content. It's just going to be a lot of fun. It's called Podcasting with Dummies. We're the dummies, not you. And you can sign up for that on Creative South's website for just another few hours, and then we're doing it, and it's live and it's happening. So get to it. And then also, while we're there, we're going to be doing some hot seats. We're going to be doing some man on the street type interviews, video stuff, and another really fun thing that I don't think we've mentioned up to this point. We're going to be broadcasting live from The Bucket, which is the Bucket. The Bucket. It's the... I didn't understand what you said. All I heard was...
That was the echo of
like
Bucket.
It puts the lotion on its skin. That's kind of what I heard.
Okay.
But it's The Bucket is the Creative South official radio station. And it's going to be we will be broadcasting some podcasts. What are our times?
Thursday, 2 to 4 p.m.
Yep, 2 to 4
Eastern
on Thursday.
time.
Eastern time.
Eastern. And
because that's the only time zone we know.
We'll tweet out on Master of One. We'll also tweet out on our personals and Instagram and Slack and Facebook or whatever. So everybody will know.
You can tune in live through like Mixer or something like that. Like we'll post all that information.
All the links will be available.
There's a special place that you can go and check it out. But if you're at Creative South, we'll be broadcasting live there as well in the vendor village. And we'll have some guests potentially. We talked to one guest that might be sitting in the seat. We talked to maybe a couple, a duo, a twin sister crew that might be joining us. That's all I'm going to say.
There's a chance you might hear us on other spots on The Bucket too. There's a chance.
Yeah, there is a chance. But if you're in the neighborhood, check us out. Is there anything else? Remember, if you want to
have your pet spayed and neutered.
If you want a Benjamin Button, just whisper in Luke's ear, and we've got a special one for you.
But you have to whisper something that nobody else has whispered to me.
Like the way you look.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're a handsome man.
Well, now you've both whispered that into my ear, so sorry. Come up with something new.
So I feel like I lost my place. Oh, just go to it. Okay, I remember where we're at now. That shouldn't have been my go-to, but that's fine. You can find us on mofonepodcast.com, where you can find show notes and links to all the stuff that we talked about in this episode. You can find an archive full of incredibly awesome people. Search us on M of One Podcast on all the different social media platforms. You notice how, like, if anyone's watching this on YouTube, both Patrick and Luke immediately checked out. They started looking other directions and started playing with toys.
It's like me on a koozie.
That's for you, man.
I was going to give him mine.
Too bad.
Okay. We're on social media. Just search M of One Podcast on all the different platforms. You can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Gosh, you guys are distracting.
Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play Store, YouTube.
Yep, on all of those. Yeah, I think you covered all of them. Like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, all the different things that you do. Do that. It's so helpful. It's so doesn't take you much time, doesn't cost you any money. It's super helpful. But if you do want to contribute to the show financially, you can go to patreon.com/MF1podcast, throw a couple dollars in there each month, and you get our...
Are you not going to tell people about swag?
Patron level.
What's swag?
We have some
like the hat
swag.
that I'm wearing?
We're unveiling Creative South. There'll be a link where you can purchase it, so start pinching your pennies.
Yes, that's true.
Get out
we will
your
have this hat
checkbooks.
on sale. Some pins, this pin on sale, as well as a couple of...
Can we be clear? We will not have the hats at Creative South.
Oh, yeah, heck no. We're going to personally deliver that. Not personally. Someone will personally deliver them to your house.
It's true.
With their hands from a truck.
Or their drone.
Yep.
If you live in San Francisco.
We are not responsible for how it gets there. We're pretty sure it will get there, is what we're trying to say. So yeah, swag will be available, but if you want to become a patron, that would be super awesome too. And join our new channel. We've been on Slack for,
a
while.
A lot of time.
We've built our Slack community. I want to say we built it. Our Slack community has grown from like
built
5
itself. Absolutely.
Right, has grown from like 5 people to almost 300 over the last couple years. And Slack has been great to us. However, we have outgrown Slack. And I know it's a sad day. And so some of you are sitting here going, I use Slack and talk to you guys every single day. Yeah,
you
you're
still
right.
can.
But we have a brand new platform just for our community. And so, Patrick, tell everybody where they can find our new M of One community.
Sure. So the idea is that Slack at the free tier has a limited amount of storage and a limited amount of media that you can share, in messages that are visible, etc. Well, that's fine. That's understandable. And everybody, businesses have to make money, not slighting Slack at all. But the reality is for our community, when we have over 300 people in there, the $6 a month that it costs per active user is just too high of a barrier. We just... we can't pay...
we don't want to charge people to be on our Slack channel, and we can't afford to
spend $1,000, $1,800, whatever, every month.
Exactly, yeah.
To keep the channel open. So Slack, we would be able to keep the channel open for 3 days.
Right.
And then we would be out of money, fold up the podcast. We can't do that. So we want to find a channel where we don't have to delete out old messages and delete out old content, and we don't have to, we're like constantly throwing away our history, which is very painful for us. So we wanted to find a channel where people can congregate, but it works better for our type of family as opposed to just like for a business organization. So we're going to be using Discord. And Discord is a service that you can join. You can individually decide to pay for a pro version of Discord. So that's something that you can manage individually, but ultimately everybody can join. And the storage, we can store the stuff there, and we can have all the media, we can have all the messages. We don't lose that history. And also there's some other cool features, the way channels work, the way we can tag people. We're able now to give patrons like custom abilities that we don't give to normal members. So patrons, you'll have some new perks and the way you can interact with the community that non-patrons can't do. And so we can do some things like that. It's really exciting.
And there are voice channels. We can talk,
there are voice
y'all.
channels, so you can actually talk. You don't want to hear our voice. You already hear that, but you can hear each other's voices.
You can hear each other's voices.
And that's something. So starting today, if you go to mofonepodcast.com/Slack, that will still redirect you to the Discord sign up. Okay. But we will also have a new link. If you just go to mofonepodcast.com/ we didn't talk about this. How's family sound? Do you want
that
chat?
Sounds great.
Do you want family?
Let's do family.
Okay. mofonepodcast.com/family starting today will also get you to the sign up as well. So /Slack will still work, but also /family will just give you the Discord invite. Sign up, download the app, get it fired up, and Yeah, let's have a good time. So
for the next couple days, continue to monitor both Slack and Discord, but there will be a hard shutoff where we will close. We're gonna close the M of One Slack channel and just migrate everything over into Discord. And it's cool. I mean, we've been using it for a little bit. Our patrons we've migrated our patrons over, and we've been using it internally. With a handful of people, and it's functions very much the same, but it's going to open us up to whole new opportunities and continue to grow like we do. So hit us up, m1podcast.com/family, and join the Discord channel now. I think that's it, though. I think we're going to hop out of this episode. If you're going to be at Creative South, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
For everyone else, though, peace out.
Bye.
And hold on to them butts.